y'all, it's me, Iman, your criminal defense and personal injury attorney. Today we're going to talk about part 2 of DUI and license suspension. But before we begin, I want y'all to take a second and hit the subscribe button. In part 1 of this video, I explained that here in Georgia, if you are ever arrested for DUI, you'll be read what is called the Georgia Implied Consent Notice, which informs you of the state's intent to conduct a chemical test of either your blood, breath, or urine. Now, although you have a legal right to refuse a chemical test, understand that your refusal will result in a 1-year suspension of your driver's license. For today's topic, I want to talk about how to avoid a license suspension after DUI arrest, okay? So here we go, y'all. When you refuse a chemical test, the Department of Driver Services, also known as DDS, will be notified. In turn, DDS will administratively suspend your license for a year, okay? Many people don't know that before your license is suspended, you have a legal right to a hearing. It is called an administrative license suspension hearing or an ALS hearing, okay? To exercise your rights to an ALS hearing, you need to submit a request for a hearing to DDS within 30 days of your arrest, okay? Once DDS receives and processes your request, you will receive a notice of a hearing date. I encourage you guys to try to appear for this hearing because this will be an opportunity to try to save your license from being suspended, okay? I also encourage you guys to try to have an attorney there to represent you, all right? Now, understand that the purpose of this hearing is to determine if the officer had probable cause to arrest you for DUI, all right? It is not to determine if you are in fact guilty of DUI. That is a separate issue that will be addressed later in your criminal case for DUI, all right? Now, at the hearing, both you and the arresting officer need to be present, all right? Now, many times the arresting officer fails to appear for these hearings, all right? They do not appear for the ALS hearing. And when that happens, that puts you at an advantage because then you or your attorney can make an oral motion to the court and request that administrative license suspension action be dismissed for warrant of prosecution due to the arresting officer's failure to appear, all right? Now, more than likely, the judge will grant your motion to dismiss unless the officer has a valid reason for why he or she failed to appear, okay? Now, if and when your motion is granted, your license will remain in good status and active, okay? Now, obviously, if the arresting officer appears, there will be a mini hearing. Both sides will be able to put up evidence, and the judge will make the final determination as to whether or not there was probable cause for the DUI arrest and whether your license should be suspended, okay? That is it, you guys. If you guys want to see part 3 of this video on how to obtain a limited permit after DUI arrest, subscribe to my channel, like, and follow. Bye, y'all.